So the next thing I'd like to talk about is the vocals and how we ended up getting them sitting well within the mix for in comparison of the drums. So as you can see here, I've got some automation on it, especially in some certain areas like here. This is the chorus when Nathan inhales. So what I done here was I melodined these vocals. I've used a pitch correction on these vocals. In here, I've just used macros to get his pitch center roughly 50% correct. I didn't want to overdo it so it sounded robotic or it sounded clear. I didn't use any pitch drift because that also makes it quite obvious. So in certain areas here, this was originally in a C. I've just moved them up, but I like the waviness of his voice. It's just I wanted it more in pitch. I've also used the Pro 2Q EQ as well. First thing I done was I've taken out roughly 100 hertz out of his vocals because they were just absolutely not needed. There was some areas of resonance that I really didn't like. So for example here, that's roughly in the 200 hertz. If I play it, you can tell this one was quite a problem. And also here roughly in the 400 mark, specifically 475. I really didn't like that. Without it, it was just too much in certain areas. I've also boosted that 1 to 2k area as well. This was just to also combat how strong the drums were in the mix. This is just to give them a little bit more presence within that mix. Because I didn't want the vocals sitting too high, too loud within the mix. I wanted them to sit side by side with the drums, but also have clarity. Also, in certain areas of the song, I did have a little bit of hiss clicking as well, especially with those S's. Specifically, it was stars. And right here there was just too much high end, roughly in the 10k mark. So that was my reason for taking out that bit of frequency there. So I also used a Pro C2 Fab Filter compression. The style's in classic. I was trying around with vocal, but you don't get to play around with the ratio, and I really wanted to be quite nitpicky with that ratio. So it was roughly in the 7.5 mark there. The threshold's quite strong. It's at 26 minus 26. So if you listen here, so it's cutting out quite a bit, but it's staying quite level in the mix there. I didn't want it to be too low where the drums were overpowering it. I didn't want it to be too high where I was overpowering the drums. I wanted them to be kind of side by side. And the main issue that I had for mixing this was mainly the frequencies. And also I've just got a basic reverb one. It's roughly at 4 seconds for the time. I've taken out some of the level. I didn't want it to be too overpowering there. I've also got the diffusion. I turned that down quite a bit. The standard is 100%. I've got that roughly on 81, and the mix is roughly at 80%. I found that if I go higher, 30%. Sorry. I found if I go higher, it was getting too wet, and it was kind of muddying up the vocals. Here I've got this on random. I liked, honestly, this is a bit that I really have issues trying to figure out what does, how it works. I have a clue on how it works, but overall, I've just played around with it, figured out what I like from it, and I've just kept it the way it is. If I was originally on room, but I found that the low frequencies were getting a bit too strong. So with random, I found it was giving it a little bit of erraticness to the vocals. So if you listen here,
Got a twist in it for a GPO and all the hits in it. I'm gonna hit your business if it's momentary blissness.
so it's quite a long reverb tail on that. You can clearly hear the compression, and in specific areas like the middle eight, you can hear the melodyne, but it's the best of what I can do.
Hit me for the day, for the light that you suffered to come by. Take to my sky, never wanting, only wonder.
And this is also being played with MIDI. So what I've used here is Contact. Just session strings. I've not really touched anything because honestly, the way it started off was perfect for this. What I've done is I've automated the volume of the notes, so you can see here on each chord it slowly builds up just to give it that swell. And what I've also done is I've duplicated the channel. If you look really close, they're just separated. They're just slightly out of time with each other. And this was just so I can have a stereoscope of the strings. So if you can see here, it's panned 100 to the left, 100 to the right. It's just so you can hear that stereo sound. Without it, if I do this, and what I did do is, and that's with the stereo. So that really helped, specifically for the vocals, because the vocals in this song, they're mono, they're in the middle. They don't really move around stereo wise, and with the strings on either side of your ear, it gives space for the vocals to just be present in the song. And that's about it for this section.